Hello. In this lesson, we're going to look at simplifying expressions. So this worksheet is under the name Simplifying Expressions. So what we're doing here is first we are combining what are called like terms. And like terms mean that they have to have the same letter in order for them to be like terms. And when we have like terms, we can add them up. So for example, 5x plus 6x. X is in both, so we can combine them. Think about if we were talking about that you have 5 apples and 6 apples. You can add 5 plus 6, which would make it 11 apples. In this case, it's 11x. So the x is just like apples. Now, number 2, we have a 2x and a 3x. Those both have x in it, in them, so they are like terms. So we can add those. 2 plus 3 equals 5. That is 5x. Plus 7 does not have a letter, which is called a variable. So we can't combine 7 with the terms that have x. We're just going to write this as 5x plus 7. And that is our answer. Same thing here. We have a 4x plus x. Now, when you see an x, this means that there's a 1 here. We just don't write it because we know that there is always one x if we have the x. If we don't have an x, it means that it's 0 times x. So if you see x or any other variable letter by itself, it means that there's a 1. You're multiplying it by 1. So now we're adding, again, we have 4x and we have 1x. So we're adding those two. 4 plus 1 equals 5x. And 8 doesn't have a like term, so we're just going to leave it as 8. Now, number 4. We have 2x plus 6x. Those two are like terms. And we can combine those. 2 plus 6 is 8x. 9y. Y is, of course, a different letter from x. Think about it like if you had 2 apples plus 9 bananas plus 6 apples. You can combine the apples. 2 plus 6 apples would be 8 apples. So 2x plus 6x is 8x. 9 bananas, you can't combine bananas with apples, so you would just leave it as 9y, and that's your answer. Okay, for number 5, we have an x. There is no other term with x, so we're going to leave it. Or we can actually just write the x here. Next term is 3y, and we do have a like term, 5y. So 3 plus 5 is 8y. And then we have our 12, which does not have a like term. So x plus 8y plus 12 is our answer. Okay, let's look at number 6. We have 8x plus 4x. So 8 plus 4, that equals 12x. And then we have y and 2y. Again, the y means that there's 1. So there's a 1 in front here. So 1 plus 2 is 3y. And that is our answer. Now, when you're doing these have all been positive. Of course, if there is a minus sign in front of one of the terms, you do have to subtract them. So that sign kind of belongs to the one that's after it. So, for example, if we had 8x plus 2 minus 4x. This would mean that 8x and minus 4x, oops, I meant to do a circle so that they are like terms. 8x and negative 4x are like terms. So we would do 8 minus 4, which is 4x. And then we just add the 2 on there. So our answer would be 4x plus 2. Yeah, and notice that I'm either using colors or I'm using different kinds of things to note the like terms, because it's easier to figure out which ones are like terms. So like here I circled the like terms, 2x and 6x, and then I underlined 9y. If we had another y, I would have underlined it as well. So just a way to make sure that you're taking all the terms that are on here, that you're actually writing them. Okay, next we are continuing to simplify expressions. These have parentheses, so what that means that we are going to use distribute. So we're always, this 3 here, there's a multiplication between the 3 and the parentheses. So we're going to multiply 3 times x and 3 times 2. So it's going to look like this: 3 times x plus 3 times 2 plus 5x. Now our x's are like terms, 3x plus 5x, that would be 8x. And then we have 3 times 2, which is 6. So 8x plus 6 would be our answer. And now, in math, the correct way to write these is in an alphabetical order. So when you have x and y, x comes first. So that's why I'm writing the term that has the x in it first. All the constants that don't have any variables, don't have any letters, they are going to be at the end. And that's just the way, kind of a math grammar, whatever you want to call it. It's the correct way of doing it. I will not be taking points off if you have them in an incorrect order, unless I'm asking you to put them in a correct order. But basically, it's not going to be a huge deal. But for example, my math lab, make sure that you are doing it. I can't remember if it actually requires you to do them in the correct order or not. But if you get it wrong, if you, for example, write 6 plus 8x and it says that it's wrong and you're convinced that, or you're sure that it is correct, then try to do it so that you have your terms with the variables, the letters first, and they're in alphabetical order. Okay, let's look at number 15. As you can see, we're not going to do all of these. You will get the correct answers. They will be posted on Blackboard for you to see the correct answers. Plus, you can actually get the answer to this question: why did Oslo go to the sled and sleigh auction? By finding, your answer and then putting the correct letter on there, and that should give you also kind of a hint where what the correct answer should be. Okay, so let's look at number 15. So we have a 7 plus 4, again parentheses open, x plus 5 parentheses closed. So we are distributing 4 times x and 4 times 5. So we have 7 plus 4 times x plus 4 times 5. Now, 4x is the only term with the x. So we're going to rewrite that, 4x, and then 7. 4 times 5 is 20. So 7 plus 20 is 27. And that is your answer. So we can combine the 7 and the 20. 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, let's look at number 17. And I'm actually going to get an extra piece of paper so that I have enough room to write. So number 17 is 5 times x plus 3 inside the parentheses plus 3 times y plus 1 inside the parentheses. So again, I'm distributing the 5 with everything that's inside the parentheses after 5. So 5 times x plus 5 times 3. And the same thing with the 3. Distributing it with everything that comes after. 3 times y plus 3 times 1. So we have 5x, 5 times 3 is 15, 3y plus 3 times 1 is 3. Now, we have a 5x, we don't have a like term for that. We have a 3y, no like terms. We have a 15 and a 3 that are like terms. So 5x plus 3y plus 15 plus 3 is 18. And that is your answer. So we're always distributing with the number that is right in front of the parentheses. Or we could have it right after the parentheses. So for example, this could be x plus 3 multiplied by 5, and we would distribute it with what's inside the parentheses, where still it's a multiplication. And again, remember that this 1, or the x, it's always a 1. So this would be the same, 5 times x plus 5 times 3, or 3 times 5, and 5x plus 15. So it doesn't matter if the 5 is after the parentheses or if it is before the parentheses, we are doing the same thing, multiplying everything that is inside it. Now, if we had, instead of the x plus 3, if we actually had for example, 2x plus 3 times 5. Again, the 5 is after the parentheses, but there's no other operation in between. So we are multiplying here, or distributing and multiplying. So now we would do 5 times 2x plus 3 times 5, or 5 times 3. I'm sorry, I'm switching them around right now. Let me put the 5 in here so they're in the same position. Let me actually rewrite it. So 2x times 5 plus 3 times 5. So these are the 5s that come from this, and then you have 2x plus 3. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 2 times 5, because we can do that. 2 times 5 is 10, and we have an x left here. So it's 10x. Plus 3 times 5 is 15. So the answer to this would be 10x plus 15. Okay, I'm going to leave it at this. You're going to need this in 1.1. There will be extra practice for this simplifying expressions on my math lab as well. It is optional, so it is not required for you to do, but if you want to, practice these more, that's where you'll find it. And just like any time, please feel free to ask me any questions, anything that you're confused with. I'll be happy to, walk through some of the other examples if you need additional help with this. But this is it for simplifying expressions. Bye.